So over the last year, things have been a bit difficult and hectic because obviously we're in the times of COVID, so we couldn't meet physically. So we had to adjust and move everything to online. So we were having online services, and it was quite difficult because we didn't really know how to go about it. Because usually when we're at church physically, we have church the whole day, and now we don't want people to have online fatigue. So we had to reduce everything to just 2 hours, and also just encouraging people to attend was quite a lot of work because people just had other commitments or decided to go to other places, so the attendance was a bit lower than what we expected and a bit lower than what we would usually have if we were having physical church.
So we call ourselves Adventism. It's short for Seventh Day Adventist movement, a students movement. It's really been hectic, I guess. I think we're not really used to having church online, because imagine when you come into church, you look all pretty, all dressed up, you're ready to worship God with the congregation, because the congregation also brings in that that liveliness, and after throughout the week's trouble, you come and you meet with people where you share the same values and you share the same principles and you're worshiping God, and it does kind of like give you the sense of I am home. Then online, after COVID, it's online, everything is online. First of all, sometimes you don't even shower. You have to go for a Zoom meeting. The network is bad, and it seems like your spiritual growth is not being it's not being harvested in a sense. So I think the online church service was it was very hard to get used to, and also I don't think I got the same spiritual growth through online than when we have congregation together.
Why it was important for me to go back to church in 2021 was the simple fact that I'm a person who cannot live out of church. You see, I feel like I must always have that connection with God. So also with the whole COVID thing going on, I felt I needed Jesus' protection, so hence I decided to go to church because I'm that much of a believer. I'm a true believer. And yeah. Jesus in the glass so you can smile at the storm, smile at the storm, smile at the storm. With Jesus in the glass so you can smile at the storm as we are sailing home.
So for me, my faith, my religion, it's my source of hope in whatever time I'm going through. So while there was this whole pandemic and people were dying, people were sick and all of that, it's always been my source of hope. So in a bad time, that's where I go. And not that that's the only place I go to during bad times only, and during the good times I'm just like, okay, never mind. No, but I don't know what I would have turned to if I didn't have my faith, basically. Because at the end of the day, when things like that are going on in your country and in the world with people, where it's just basically havoc. I think you need something more than just. You need something more to look at. You need somewhere where your hope is gonna be, or else you're just sitting every day and you're just thinking of bad stuff only, and that's very negative, and I don't think that's any way to live out your days. You want to have something that will give you hope and peace. So I think that's partly what encouraged me to stay in it, because it was my hope. It was my light at the end of the tunnel, basically. Like, it was that thing I could turn to, that, okay, maybe everything is falling apart, but I know that according to scriptures and what I've learned, that God is always with me, no matter what the situation is. So based off of what the scripture tells me and what I've learned, that's partly why I stayed rooted in it.